This week in East Brunswick, Carl Hintz, Director of Planning and Development, presents a model of the proposed municipal complex expansion.
I'm Carl Hintz, Director of Planning and Development for East Brunswick. Before me is a scale model of the municipal complex, the Gene Walling Civic Center, which was prepared by our architects Kelbaugh and Lee, as well as my own staff. The model, at a scale of approximately 1 inch equals 30 feet, shows the long-term expansion for the Gene Walling Civic Center. At the present time, the library facility is shown here, the municipal building shown here, and the existing public safety building shown here. This is Civic Center Drive, which makes its way around the building, and these are the apartment units that are presently in place now. The long-term plans for the facility were prepared by studies by the architects after review of similar types of office facilities, a needs analysis with the various department heads at the municipal building, and an inspection in detail of the operations of the various departments and their functions. One of the more immediate programs identified by the township and by the study is the need for a senior citizens center. This complex here, this building in here, is the proposed future senior citizens building, which would be a center to allow for recreational and cultural and meeting activities for the senior citizens. The facility is planned and laid out in the structure so as to associate itself with the library where the senior citizens is operating out of at this point in time, and also to allow for passive and active solar. That's one of the reasons the building is laid out in the direction that it is. One of the concepts here is to eventually see the enclosure and tightening up of the municipal complex for a number of reasons: to create a better ambiance about the character of the municipal complex and the municipal square, to allow for a number of the activities that can occur in a municipal complex of this kind, and also to create the spaces for the kinds of cultural and governmental activities that can occur. Some of the other facilities proposed in the short term are some alterations to the physical building of the municipal complex to allow for some room and some overcrowded spaces. For example, the clerk's office is overcrowded, there's some overcrowding in finance, and the building is being pushed slightly out in this direction to allow for that accommodation of those expansions. This is a proposed expansion for the council, planning board, and zoning board, and other meetings that need to be accommodated on a weekly basis. Right now, the meetings are held in a smaller conference room, as well as sometimes meetings are held over in the courtroom over, which is located in here. This particular expansion would allow for permanent meeting room for night meetings, which roughly operate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights of every week by various organizations, town council meetings, planning board, and so on. There's also shown here is an expansion in the short term, which would be located roughly right in here, which is an expansion for the court administration and court facilities. They are extremely overcrowded at the present time, which has been recognized for a number of years. And that will also, on the short term, allow for access to the handicapped. There would be a barrier-free ramp built to allow for access to public safety building as well as a municipal building for access to the handicapped. Other minor expansion is to provide for additional room for the Detectives Bureau in the public safety area, as well as a small garage area to bring in prisoners into the jail without bringing them in from the outside as they are now in the parking lot area. Other expansions recommended are the approximately 6,500 square feet of office space in this area and here, which would enclose off the space from this end. This would allow for offices for the Sewage Authority, which is presently in crowded quarters over on behind Route 18, to allow for the Health Environment Department, which is on park property out on Dunham's Corner Road. And these expansions for municipal services will allow freeing up of space for public safety, so that the long-term plan is that there will have to be no additional public safety building ever constructed. Finally, in the long-term plan is a future court building located here, which would close off the court on this side. That courtroom facility is needed if and when there is a regionalization of the court systems. The financing for the senior citizens complex would be partially shared by the federal government through the revenue sharing program. The courtroom expansion would probably only be built if there were federal money or state money for regional court expansion. The other facilities, which are expansions of the existing facilities, would be financed through a municipal bond issue. Not shown in the plan over here would be a future recreational and sports center or community center. This is planned for very long-term future, and no design has been put forward at this time. Other expansions or other ideas shown in this particular model is that the new Riders Lane realignment, which is shown off in the corner over here. This is the basic point where Civic Center Drive intersects with Riders Lane now, and that will take off and replace Ruse Lane, and turn Ruse Lane into a local collector street, removing all the traffic burden from Ruse Lane, which is presently overcrowded. It would require a connection from where Civic Center Drive ends right here up to the new Riders Lane up in that direction, and would involve a cul-de-sacing or dead ending of Riders Lane in this area here. This is the existing Riders Lane in here, and allow for that dead ending. The result of all this, too, would allow for the expansion of the municipal pond. It's anticipated that that pond facility would handle the storm drainage from town green development. And that, of course, would be paid for by developers' funding. The area then shown, this larger expanded area, would be an overall community center park, and should be quite attractive in the long term for the future needs of the community. Thank you.
The East Brunswick Women's Recreational Softball League playoffs began this week. The first games of the playoffs were played at Frost School, with the Cary Wieners defeating Highway Hi-Fi 12-4, and Spotswood Exxon beating the Shady Ladies 7-3. The Major League teams are on strike, but there's plenty of baseball action at the East Brunswick Baseball Managers Association field on Dunham's Corner Road. Cameras and editing by Arthur Guitars and Peter Catamessa. This tape was produced at the East Brunswick Public Library, 1981.